I'm sure you remember that warning from the router when we looked at port fast earlier about, should only be enabled on ports connected to a single host. We know the deal with port fast. You really should just put it on an access port that's leading to a single PC. It can help with DHCP issues. It can be helpful, but we don't want to have those temporary bridging loops we mentioned by connecting a hub or a concentrator or a switch or a bridge, etc. Well, you'd think that would be enough of a warning, but there's a chance that someone could connect a switch to a port running port fast. And in turn, we've got the possibility of a switching loop there. Well, what we can do to protect against that possibility is use a feature called BPDU guard. And it protects against that because if any BPDU, superior or inferior, comes in on a port that's running BPDU guard, the port will be shut down and placed into error disabled state, shown on the switches we know by this point as error disabled. We've seen that a couple of times. We know how to resolve it. You got to clear the issue and then reset the interface. Now you can configure BPDU guard globally. Usually when you use it though, you're going to configure it on a per interface basis. And you do that with the spanning tree BPDU guard enable command. We'll see this all live on the switches in a moment. But if you wanted to enable it globally, you actually use the spanning tree port fast BPDU guard default command. It's actually a variation of the port fast command. Now there's another guard, root guard, that is not on the CCNA exam, but you're going to see it sooner or later, and it's perilously close in operation to BPDU guard, and I want to draw a line in the sand right here about the difference between the two. Root guard will bring a port down if a superior BPDU is received on that particular port. And what we're doing, the name is the recipe, we are guarding the local switch's role as the root. We're saying, hey, we're the root, and if any BPDU comes in on this port that would dethrone me, then I want you to just shut that port down and ignore it. Okay? So BPDU guard, though, that's going to bring a port down if any BPDU comes in. Now that helps prevent switching loops, and there are other uses for it, one being a security feature. You could put it on unused switch ports, and if someone tries to introduce a rogue switch to your network, which has happened, if that port sees BPDUs come in at all saying, hey, we're not supposed to get those, let's shut that port down. So let's go and bring the live equipment up and see this in action. We're on switch 2 right now, and I've taken all the ether channel commands off. And we know right now, as has been the case through all these labs, that on switch 2, port 12 is in blocking mode. But we also know that with the blocking mode port, BPDUs are still coming in. So let's just say now that we want to enable BPDU guard on that interface. Let's see what happens. Let's do it on an interface level, and we'll go interface fast 012, spanning, and you want BPDU guard, not BPDU filter, which as you can see is right above it. Don't send or receive BPDUs on this interface. We don't want to do that. We want the guard. So we're going to put BPDU guard, and you do have to say disable or enable. And we get some messages here pretty fast, don't we? That didn't take long at all because, of course, how often are we getting BPDUs in here? Every 2 seconds, right? So let me go ahead and just scroll right over here. You can see the messages even mentioned span tree, span tree block BPDU guard. And it just said immediately, hey, we received a BPDU on port 12 with BPDU guard enabled, and we are disabling the port. And then it's got BPDU error detected and putting fast 12 in error disabled state. So that's really all we need to know. I mean, it works that well and it works that quickly. So now let's go ahead and reset it. So we do a shut, no shut, and that should take care of it, and the interface comes back up, and you can see immediately that BPDU guard is shutting it right back down because we did not address what was actually shutting the port down. We just opened it and reopened it. Well, the BPDUs are coming at us every 2 seconds, so it's only going to take a few more seconds for you to have your port shut down again. So with BPDU guard, it's a great tool because it's saying basically, hey, you need to come over here and look at this and see where these BPDUs are coming from, and meanwhile this port is shutting down, and even if someone reopens it, I'm going to shut it right back down. So BPDU guard, opens and or shuts your port down that quickly after you reopen it. You just now have to find out where those BPDUs are coming from. That is it for BPDU Guard. I will see you on the very next video.